Hi, my name is No Shad. Some of you guys know me as Shubon, and this is Spurs Video Podcast. Some of you guys go called YouTubes. First of all, I want to say that Carlsberg don't do New Year's, but my lord, I don't think they could. Even if they did, I don't think they could have done a better one than the one they did this year. It was just, it was awesome. I'll just give a bit of background. So New Year's Eve, like last New Year's Eve, 2013, out with my mates for New Year's, a bit of a late one. Then in the morning, a bit of jiu-jitsu, then out, nice bit of lunch, nice bit of good grub with your mates, then an evening game, obviously, and then against first opponents. Last year was Man United, close game, somehow we got through. This year the game was against the Russians. The Russians were coming, and they did arrive. And again, went out in Highgate. Went to a few places at the Flask, and can't remember the other pub we went to. But we went out. I thought I'd be out for a quick one. Be back by about 1:30. And long story short, back by 4 o'clock in the morning. Somehow managed to get to jiu-jitsu class, and again out for food with my mates, and then down to the game. This game, Spurs Chelsea. And you know what? I thought we were bright. First 10 minutes, I thought we were pretty bright. Ryan Mason went off, but it was a pretty tight game. And then we get a corner, and within seconds, Hazard gets it. And Hazard, obviously it's a Spurs podcast, but I'll admit I've never really seen him play. I've seen him play a few games, but he was superb, and he was probably their best player, without a doubt. The difference was he was their best player, but he was doing it by himself pretty much. He was the only one that really thought, oh my god, he's going to do something really dangerous. And luckily for us, we had a Kane, a proper hurricane. And he was ably supported by Nathan Chadley, Christian Eriksen. Those three played brilliantly. Andros, he did get an assist. There was a moment Kyle Walker went past a few players and put a cross in. There's no one at the end of it, but again, Dembele came on for Mason. Isn't really good at timing his runs, Lampard style, into the box. But no, I thought it was a really good, even game. And so I was, and then obviously they scored. Heads go down. In 5 minutes, you're up against it. And Kane, you can't. Obviously, you're seeing it from some of the north stand. You can't really see what's going on from that side. And but no, God, he got the ball and he just ran with it. And his running, I swear to God, Harry Kane. I used to watch Football Italia back in the day, and one of my favourite players was Gareth Batistuta. And there's similarities. Powerful. I don't know what's happened, but he's so much stronger. Obviously, I think it's Pochettino. You have to give him credit. He's physically got him a lot stronger. There's better balance. He's a lot more agile. You saw some of the turns that he did. The ability he showed, and that Chelsea defense just couldn't handle him. And it was an interesting game. I'm obviously not very happy with the goals they scored. Fazio adored him. He did that against Man United as well. So that's something he's got to work on. That's something hopefully he'll learn in time. There's a time to play it Barcelona style, Brazil style, whatever you want to call it, and there's a time to play it. The best way I can say it, really, I guess, would be Route 1 Wimbledon style, just boot into Roy's head. That was that moment. And again, Hazard took a quick free kick. We were caught napping, and I think we were very fatigued at that point. They were knackered as well, but so were we. But I think 5-3. I don't think it reflects the score. I think we did absolutely batter them. I think, and they got the 3 goals. And to be totally fair, I actually saw Cahill kick Harry Kane, and how the referee and the linesman, no one else saw that. I don't know. To be totally fair to Saint Harry, anyone else would be like, oh my back, and rolling over, and that would have been if that had been Diego Costa, he'd have done that. But that's what Harry's about. He's just a tough son of a bitch. The atmosphere was amazing. The place was rocking. I don't. Obviously, if we move stadiums, will it be as rocking? I don't know. But the only. We all played really well. Fazio dominated everything on the ground. Because when you play up there, he's 6'6", whatever tall he is, and Jan Vertonghen read it brilliantly. There's a couple of challenges which I didn't like actually, and Jan Vertonghen's been through the wars. I mean, he's clearly winning tackles, but some of the Chelsea players do dive. And there's a moment I think we kicked the ball out of play, and you see them, and they actually run onto it. So you kick the ball out of play. It's a sporting thing to do. What do the Chelsea players do? Chelsea fans, and this is how class they are. I mean, they actually, they did basically what Chris Sutton did for Blackburn years ago. If you don't saw it, they chased it down. Can you imagine? They chased it down to try and, that is classless. But that is Chelsea, I guess. So no, it was just a brilliant game. It was the start of the new year. So I think, I've got to give my mate Siobhan a shout for this. I saw him yesterday. He was like going to, he supports the village. He was like saying, I reckon we'll get a result there. So I don't know if it was Chevs doing it or, because he saw me with the Spurs scarf, and he was like giving me a bit of jerk. So I stuck that scarf somewhere, not somewhere, somewhere nice and pretty. No, don't get out of it. But I don't think Siobhan was too happy about it. But maybe that was a lucky race. I don't know. But things seem to go our way. I mean, there was a moment that Fazio caught Hazard, and he won the ball, but there's no way for the linesman to tell that, and he could have given a penalty, red card, whatever. So it can go either way. By the way, for Senor Moreno, this is the elbow. So if the ball touches the hand and you can't, it's an unnatural. So if it's in an unnatural position, it's a handball. It's a penalty. Otherwise, it's not a penalty. So get your head out of the arse. And how come you saw that? But the Chadley, Cahill kicking Kane right in front of you. I did not see it. That meant to be French. That meant to be Mr. Wenger as a French accent, Portuguese. I don't know. They obviously they've been actually I've just for so many years. They actually are meant to start to copy John's mannerisms. But no, it was incredible. The stadium was rocking. The energy throughout. I mean, we couldn't believe it. And I think Harry Kane. I mean, the power. It was just the sheer physical power, and it wasn't like headless chicken running. This was very purposeful. Everything he was doing, there was a reason. I mean, you can't see it because you're watching. You're tracking the ball, but when you watch I watched the match of the day last night, and you see Christian Eriksen, some of the runs he made off the ball, bringing players out of positions. I mean, those three are working brilliantly together. If Lamela or Andros or whoever can make that difference, then it's going to be an impressive thing for us. I would like to see how things work out. It's going to be, like I said, you never know. You can never really tell with Spurs, really. I mean, we're the kind of team that could, what's the word? We'll beat Chelsea, and somehow we'll play Palace in a few weeks, who obviously new manager and Pardew, and balls it up. So it's you never know. It's just one game, but my God, what a game! I mean, it's as if I just feel as if like Liverpool timed it or something, because everyone's like, oh, Gerrard. Forget the fact that Chelsea had 5 put past them. Mourinho, the last time someone put 5 past Mourinho, it was Barcelona that did that. Okay, and that was an incredible Barcelona that managed to go on and win, I think, the Champions League or something that year. So that's how. So to be in that kind of company, I mean, I look at Chelsea's squad, and I mean, Hazard was superb. But I mean, like Willian, Oscar, players we really wanted, went for, were ultimately gazumped for, didn't really show up. And Fabregas, I remember, was it the year that we beat the Goons at Old Cashburn, and his passing, he was just killing us. And for some reason, I'll give credit to Bentaleb and Dembele. They completely dominate those. They own those two, because he could not get time on the ball. Because you had Matic was trying to follow Eriksen, our main playmaker, following him. Really quick. I mean, it was Ajax style interchange passing. I mean, a buddy of mine, check it out, www.SpursFanatic.com. Check out his site. He'll go on much keys to victory, and he's brilliant, Mark. And he actually said Ivanovic is the weak link. And I tweeted him. I said, you know what, Mark, you got it spot on. I thought and how they took out Matic. I mean, you look at a player like Matic, and he's been their best player, and to render him ineffective is simply what I think. If you remember Chris Coleman many years ago for Fulham, when he was manager of Fulham, he managed to take out Makalele out of the game, and without him, their defense was exposed. They couldn't get the supply line going, and it's key that they identified who is that key person that makes everything happen for them. I mean, this is really as Pochettino's system. And one of the things that was interesting was that there was a few moments that Lloris did a bit of captaincy. There was a bit of niggles. Lloris went out there and spoke to the referee. Said, "Look, what's going on here?" There was really good captaincy by him, and I don't want to blame it all on Cabal, but since that Stoke game, if you look at that Stoke game, Cabal hasn't played. I don't think he's featured in the league since that Stoke game, and we are just a lot more solid at the back. And I think a lot of that is down to Fazio and Vertonghen. They play together, and Lloris as well. And those three playing together, so often they developed a real understanding, and there's a really strong core there. We'll go obviously with Spencer. We'll talk about that in a bit. I still don't think we're going to be able to get anyone in, and I think we'll have to put up with Paulinho. So I'm going to talk about Paulinho. He really disappointed me again. There was a moment he puts his boot up really high. Now I don't know his body mechanics, but why he thought that. But all he had to do was head the ball. There's a moment that he put a high boot in there, and that put us up. That's a dangerous free kick. It's a needless way to put a free kick, and just put your body in there, head it, put your body in the way, just jump up. Don't put a high boot in there, because that's the referee. Even if you win the ball, the referee's going to say that's dangerous, and he got you rightly booked for it, and he could have got a red card. It was very, very dangerous, and it was that I don't know, but I don't think he's got that ability to handle adversity. This is just I don't know. This is just my guess. Again, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I just don't know. You've got one player that's a bit much of a coward off the ball, won't put his body on the line, Dawson style. I don't want to say coward, he's just not. I mean, obviously, nobody wants to get hurt, and I can understand not an injury, but you get paid a lot of money. You're a defensive midfielder, box to box. Part of your job is to put it about, be good on the ball, be good off the ball. And that's the same for everyone, but especially in that midfield area, and he didn't do that. He was there to strengthen up, and he just didn't do it. And it was very disappointing for me personally to see that. And Dembele, he did break up play. He harassed and harried. And I was, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, Mason, hopefully his injury isn't too bad, but it's still, you want Ryan Mason being a very, very good player. So hopefully he'll come back. But definitely at striker, I'm talking about who I think we should bring in. I think Soldado. We had to keep Harry Kane on. It was his running, his power that did everything, and he can't do every single game by himself. I think Soldado will start, or Adebayor, and hopefully one of those two will show something. Because I'll be totally fair, Harry Kane, just the purpose and power he showed. The best I could say was Adebayor did that to us 3 years ago. Or was it 3 years ago? No, it was 7 years ago now, when he was playing for them not down the road. He absolutely destroyed us, and his movement, his power, and we just couldn't handle it. We just didn't know how to handle it. We weren't the best team. I mean, by any stretch of the imagination, we're not. I think we finished 5th that year, but it was. I think we finished either 5th, or that could have been actually. Tell a lie. That could have actually. That was the Bale season. Actually, that's the season Bale joined us. That was the old. Ramos and everything. I think Ramos and everything. I think it might have been that year or the year before. But we just couldn't handle him. He was just, and I think, again, that's what Harry Kane was. So yeah, it was an amazing, and it was a great start of the new year. And I was saying to Ivan, I was like, it was just a wonderful evening. And I was thinking a bit of a jinx, because I went to every game I'd been to prior, we'd lost every single one at home. So I thought, I ain't gonna go anymore. I'm a curse at these things. But I don't know. New Year's Day games, I gotta go to them. I've got to do. I've got to make sure I have a good New Year's Eve out. I've got to do some jiu-jitsu, definitely in the day before the game, whenever I can. Get some good grub in, and. Just go to the game with some really cool people. So anyway, thank you for joining the YouTube. I wish you guys a very happy, peaceful, prosperous New Year. Spurs and non-Spurs related, obviously, but this is a Spurs video podcast. And yeah, Kevin G, my boy Kevin G, this is here for you, mate. I can't wait for you to come over. You can go out the lane and definitely do it all. Anyway, yeah, it's been a great video podcast. Hit me up at W4TheRealShabon. Just Twitter that. Twitter. I don't know my Twitter handle. It's W4TheRealShabon. And always you can or add comments on YouTube. And yeah, definitely check out SpursFanatic.com. And also I'm going to give a shout out to Spurs Odyssey, run by a great guy called Paul. Really does a fantastic job of that. And the other one, obviously, SpursForum.co.uk. P606 pas Dieu. Yeah, that's a terrible French accent. So yeah, hope you enjoy this, and going to give a big shout out to these guys, Cancer Research Trust. Run for these guys, they're awesome and they do a wonderful job. Team Bones.